Hello, YouTube. It's your buddy Chopping On. We're going to come at you today with an NBA version of DFS Diary. We're going to dive in and we're going to talk a little bit about value. We're going to talk a little bit about the and one rating system. We're going to pick some players for our player pool. And of course, we're going to talk a little bit about consistency rating in the sim model today. But our tip of the day is going to be expected value. We're going to talk a little bit about that too. So let's dive in. Paycheck Friday. You're here. I appreciate it. Thanks for hitting the like button and the subscribe button. Thanks for always lending me support here out on YouTube. This isn't something that I ever aspire to do professionally, but I sure do love sharing information with you guys. DFSArmy.com, your one-stop shop for all things daily fantasy sports, is where I hail from. It's where I hope you become a VIP and join. With our coaches' content and tools, you're never at a loss for becoming a better player in the world of daily fantasy sports. Head down to the comments section, click the link. Use coupon code CHOP for a 10% off discount, and let's get rocking and rolling into today's content. The tip of the day, expected value. I'm working on a PowerPoint slide that is going to hopefully visually put to bed what the concept is, how it affects you. It is a poker concept that I learned years ago. It is something I've been trying like mad to relate into daily fantasy sports. I hear people talk about it some in terms of maybe a 50-50 contest or this, that, or the other. But what I want to do is I want to relate it to specific plays. Is Giannis Antetokounmpo a plus EV play tonight? Is Russell Westbrook a plus EV play tonight? Is Karl Anthony Towns a plus EV play tonight? And which one's better? That's the hard part. Expected value, simply stated, is what you can expect to return on money invested if you make that play. And really and truly, just like I was driving through the car the other day and I was listening to the NHL guys talk about my St. Louis Blues, and they said that they're trying to make the little plays and they're trying to win the little battles. And it absolutely drove me nuts that they don't talk about this more often. If I'm the coach of the St. Louis Blues, I'm talking to my guys in the locker room, I'm explaining, we don't need to win the game. We don't need to win the 20-minute period. We need to win the little battles. Get the puck out of the corner. How dare you get in there and try and take that puck out of there? Know where to put the puck on the ice. Win the face-off. Collect the rebound. Clear the puck out of our own zone with the proper place to put the puck. Lead the guy. All the little battles, the little senses of urgency created across sports drive me nuts that they don't preach about that stuff more often. If you win the little battles, you generally win the war. And that's what expected value is in DFS. If we win the little battles, we pick Paul George over Russell Westbrook in the nights he outperforms him. We pick a better value play than the rest of the industry. If we win those little battles, over the course of a season, we win the war. Of course, in any short sample size, variance comes into play. And you could very easily pick 5 positive EV plays, positive expected value plays, and them all still crap the bed on you. It happens. You can do that across 3 slates, 4 slates, 5 slates, 10 slates, and lose more than you win. That is going to happen. But over the long run, over large samples of volume, the math always wins. If you've been playing DFS for 5 years and you are not a profitable player, guess what? It ain't bad luck. You're not a profitable player. Of course, that's what DFS Army helps you do, is get better and turn that number around. But we start by making decisions. That's why this is a skill game and not a luck game. It happens to have a ton of short-term luck in it. Did that three-pointer fall or did it rim out? Did the rebound go over my head or right into my hands? Those types of things definitely matter, but over the long, larger sample sizes, the math still wins out. If I make better decisions than you, I'm going to win. That's how the game, that's why it's a skill game and not purely luck. I'm not rolling dice. I'm making decisions. I don't have to be better than Fanduel. I have to be better than the 100 guys that are in my contest with me. I need to make more positive EV decisions than they do, and over the long run, I will win. We'll go into a little bit more of that down the road. Hopefully, graphically, I can show you the equation. I can show you a couple of graphs, some things that will hopefully solidify and make that less of an abstract concept to you. but get you on the track of thinking about the positive EV decisions that you make in a day. Did you enter a tournament last night in case your lineup went off? That's an EV decision, because if your lineup does go off, you need to get paid in spades, not just 2x your money back. You need to get 10x, 20x, 50x, or more, depending on how well your lineup does. Those are all things that we talk about, of course, in DFS Army and right the ship for you. But you've got to make those little decisions day in and day out, all across the spectrum of your game, to become a winning DFS player. So how do we do that? First, we're going to start narrowing down a player pool. We're going to dive into the NBA and the and one rating system. It is one of the best catch-all metrics I have seen. If you follow us at all, you saw a tweet yesterday, third-party rated, second most accurate projections across the industry, second only to Fantasy Labs right now. Not to plug Fantasy Labs, great site, but we also offer the coaching and the interaction with the experts. You can't go into Fantasy Labs and talk to Jonathan Bales. You can't talk to Peter Jennings. You can't talk to those guys. They will not talk to you back. You can't even go into RotoGrinders and talk to those guys. I'm not bashing the sites. It's the way we are set up. You're not going to direct message Tommy G at Guru Elite and get him to talk to you and help you build a lineup. That's the difference that we offer at DFSArmy.com. Our experts are track record experts in their sports, and they provide the knowledge to help you get better quicker. That's what you're a member for. You're investing in yourself to become a better player. Of course, we provide the tools and the content and everything else to help make you a better player as well. But it's the interaction with those coaches that really brings the value. Okay, so anyway, and one rating system is very simply put a catch-all metric. You hear me talk about it all the time. It measures 20, 30, 40 different factors, puts different weights and measures on them, and comes off with a number explaining how strong the matchup is for Giannis tonight or CJ McCollum tonight, and comparatively what they should do when it comes to the minutes they play, the projections that they earn, how they've been playing lately, and of course the matchup that they're on today. And this relates into another sim model metric that I'm going to show you here towards the end. But first, we're going to blow through the point guards. The top 5 or so on a bigger slate like tonight is what I write down. So that would be Westbrook, Lillard, Melton. How about DeAnthony Melton at 4,500, pulling the third highest and one rating at point guard tonight? That tells me it is not a very deep position. Nothing against DeAnthony Melton and his family. I'm sure they love him. I'm sure he's a great guy. But he doesn't have the strong enough play or the skills or the talent to match up typically with the other point guards on the slate. We look like we have a pretty void point guard slate tonight. So we're going to be either digging for some value or we're going to be paying all the way up to Mr. Westbrook. That's going to be something you're going to have to contemplate with your coaches and with your own research later today. But these are the names that would be on the list. Conley, questionable, so I might go Bledsoe, Lonzo, Ball. Okay, I might include that 6th guy in case Conley's out. I've got the top 6 written down on a piece of paper, or what would end up being the top 5. All right, pretty simply put, right? I'm wanting to see, DeAnthony Melton at 26 at 23 points is kind of a drop score candidate in my opinion, but, I would like to see him at 30-plus minutes. Over 20 points is a good thing, so at least we've got that going for us. But these are the situations we're watching. Any of these guys down in here don't have very good matchups. Shooting guard. Chris Middleton tops the list at a 22. That's interesting. Very interesting. Up the 22 changed, so that was a little laggy there. 18. Still, 18.2 is strong. Anything over 11 is typically what I look for. Middleton, Booker, CJ McCollum, Dennis Schroeder, and Malcolm Brogdon. Those would be the top 5 I'd write down. Doesn't mean Oladipo doesn't make the list. It just means he's not in the top 5. He might make the value list somewhere, and he might not. Look all the way over here. He's a 4.1 in the value metric. So if Victor Oladipo, for whatever reason, might not be a great play tonight. You might want to look into that if you start hearing people saying, oh, Oladipo. You might want to go back and go, I'm going to dig a little bit and see why that and one system has him rated a little bit lower, why the projections have him rated down at a 4.1x instead of a 4.8x. But these are the names that I would put on the piece of paper for tonight. Small forward. Before I read the and one, I'm going to let the thing catch up, because it appears that we're lagging a touch. 27.5 for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Does that mean he's going to score 54 points? No. It means he's going to run in a channel somewhere around that, and he's scheduled to put around 4.5x on the value sheet. That's interesting because I've seen him a lot higher than that. Obviously, he's got a high price tag, And in a position that's a little bit deeper than point guard was tonight, I might be more intrigued, inclined, that's the word I'm looking for, to take a TJ Warren, a Josh Richardson, even a Paul George, Brandon Ingram. So these are the guys who are going to be on my list. I'm taking Iwundu out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are the guys I'm looking for. And, you want to really expand and go with a Gallinari. Maybe you start hearing chirpings of a Justice Winslow or somebody being in a great spot tonight. Those are all considered. Down here, Mikal Bridges and Kelly Oubre have big value ratings. I would look into them. Again, we don't want to be too rigid in what it is that we do, that we miss the other good plays, but we want to be gathering at this first look at this entry-level player pool assessment. We want to be looking at the overall assessment of what maybe we should be digging into today, okay? Not black and white. Oh, he's only 7th on the list, and Chop said take the top 6, so he gone. No, none of that. You still need to evaluate, and if you feel like including him, go for it, man. You're not going to hear. I'm not going to drive to your house, knock on your door, and like punch you in the face or anything. That's not possible. I'm a dude in a computer you're listening to right now. Power forward, Kuzma, questionable. Follow the news. But obviously LeBron is out again, so it's big. It's there's a lot to factor there. Tobias Harris, Josh Jackson, Sabonis, Harrell, Gordon, maybe Tatum. These are your 5 or 6 guys I'd be looking at. I'm looking again at a weaker position. It drops off below that 11 barrier pretty darn quick. So I might be looking to pay up a little bit for a Tobias Harris type tonight, being that he's going to be one of the stronger plays on the slate. Maybe not in a great matchup, maybe something that we have to evaluate, we have to look to. But, 4.4x again is not telling me a lot. Not telling me he's going to have a great night. This is looking like a really interesting night. For 10 games and having this many names to choose from, I'm not seeing a ton. Making me think that somebody like a Russell Westbrook is pretty damn valuable tonight. Center spot, Ayton, Whiteside, Lopez, Karl Anthony Towns, Marc Gasol. These are the guys I'd be focused on. You got a cheaper guy in Brolo down there. You've got a higher priced guy in Cat. You've got a little bit to look at. Looking again at look at how deep that position just got though. Whoa, doctor. So Brolo would be interesting. I would want to look at a consistency rating on him to see how often he's hitting 5x or how often he's testing a 6x ceiling. I don't think it's a ton, being that he's not drawing 20, 30 minutes or whatever on a routine basis. But at 5,600, if he gets me, somewhere between 25 and 30 points tonight, if he's in a favorable matchup, which looking over at the ADVP, if you don't know what that column is, it's a defensive metric. He's facing a weaker spot in Atlanta, facing a weaker defense. Maybe a good number for him. That might be so. Now, look, again, this is coming from somebody who doesn't spend a ton of time studying the league, studying the rotations and all. That's why the first look stuff is so nice for me at the beginning of a slate, where I can assess through the research station, look at the numbers, and immediately throw a player pool out to you that's going to be highly competitive. I don't need to be an expert in this particular area. I have the experts that I lean on inside DFSArmy.com. My coaches, the guys that I talk to that are coaching for the day. Those are the guys that I lean on, that I finalize my picks with. We're in the process right now, in case you don't know, VIP or not, we're in the process right now of a consensus worksheet down here, sort of like Boomer's Ballers player picks, sort of like in NFL, the Geeks picks. If you followed the Geeks picks sheet, we nutted that thing the last half of the season. We produced a couple of $100,000 winners, a $300,000 winner, and some big tourney wins off that sheet alone. What we're doing inside DFS Army right now, today, as we speak, hopefully debuting on Monday, is a coach's pick sheet where you're going to have tabs just like this. Bing, 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 bing. That's going to have the names on there. Boomer, Keg, Puggle, Bear, Loot, whatever. Whoever the names are of the day, the tabs are going to be on there. You're going to click on that tab and you're going to pull up his player pool, his sheet, his picks with notes. Because not only at DFS Army do we sometimes kind of help you narrow down that list, we explain to you why. We don't just give you a list of opinions. We're going to back it with some data. We work really, really hard on focusing on usage and minutes and too cheap for the situation, etc., to try to explain to you, hopefully, not only who we like, but how much we like them. That's what I, as content editor, am focusing on with my guys right now, is explaining to them. We need to also focus on telling the why. We need to explain. It's fine to pick 5 point guards, but which one do you like best? That's what's really going to help me as a member or a guy who doesn't know a lot. I mean, I know about NBA, but I'm not an expert in NBA. That's going to help me come home from work, put down my briefcase, pop open a beer, and start reading a couple of trusted coaches and let them guide me through this slate and put me on the correct players, because I don't have the time to do that myself. If I had the time to do that myself, I'd be a damn professional NBA DFS player. That's what they're for. So what do? We scroll over to the consistency number. And we can sort by 5x descending. I need to get off of the centers. I'm going to have to do this again, dadgummit. Let me scroll back over here. Click off of the centers. And I'm going to probably have to sort that again. By 5x descending order. Let it adjust for a second, catch a little breather. And these are the guys that now are maybe my value type plays. 3,500 Evan Turner drop score candidate. When he gets the minutes, that's what you have to check for. You got to make. I tend to stick to starters in this. I only want starters. So one thing, how do I do that? I can come back over here to the minutes, and I can sort all that out. I can go number filter greater than, say, 29 minutes. And once that all sifts out, boom, my schleps are gone. Now, I may need some sixth men, seventh men for value, drop score candidates, etc. But generally speaking, now I'm only looking at my starters. Zach LaVine, 62% of the time, hits 5x this price. What's he scheduled for tonight? 4.5x. Might be some ceiling in there. Might be a bad matchup, squashing his numbers a little bit. There's an ADVP of red. I can see that. So, maybe a bad matchup tonight. But generally speaking, he's been consistent on the year. One of the more consistent guys offered for today's slate. So again, we'll get into those plus EV type moves, and we can choose from this list and make positive expected value decisions. Again, we're running on razor thin edges, though. I mean, I'm talking about something that might be, 25 cents on the dollar positive, and you've got to make 9 of those decisions tonight. So that's why volatility plays in DFS so much more than a game like poker or something, because there are a lot more moving pieces. There's a lot more ways for things to go wrong and unravel on you. But that doesn't mean that over the long run, the math doesn't still play out. It does. TJ Warren, 57% of the time. Anybody over 50% is in a pretty good spot tonight, or is traditionally bringing value. We have to evaluate the spot they're in tonight, because maybe some of the guys down here are in great spots tonight, and they've got a higher likelihood than 43% chance to hit 5x. This is just based on what they've done this year. And then 6x is another one. You want a guy who's set maybe to go off is Evan Fournier again. Evan Fournier, when he hits his numbers, he generally goes to 6x. He's generally pretty cheap. And what's 6x? 30-something points? Almost 40% of the time he hits that. But now, how do you assess the slate? We need to consider all of the teams that are playing, all of the names that are on there, all of the point guards, all the shooting guards, all of everybody's playing. That's what the sim model's for. When this comes out later today, our VIPs get access to a model that simulates the slate 5,000 times. What does that do? That kicks out your outliers. That means, okay, Harden got 80 last night. Great. Probably isn't going to do that 70% of the time. But he might hit 5x 70% of the time in that matchup, which would be close to 80 points. But you see where I'm going with that? I'm going to look at the probability to hit 5x and 6x their salary, or a certain point number. And this is going to tell me how many percent, what percentage of the time out of 5,000 trial runs of that slate playing out, how many times that happened. And it's going to show me the majority of the time what happened. Did he hit 4x or did he hit 5x? And how close was it? Because this is going to help me just, break some ties between some of these value guys. If LaVine is a, 45% chance to hit 6x tonight, I'm going to look at that strongly. Even if his projection is only, 4.5x or something, I'm going to look at that and say, but there's a good chance he hits 6x tonight. This little tool here, when it puts the numbers in there, is just like running Monte Carlo simulations for those of you that used to play poker. I would look at the range you had, a range of hands. We're playing cards, me and you. And I'm looking at my hand, ace jack. And I need to know, to make the correct expected value decision, I need to know not what your cards are, because I can't know that. I need to know the way you've played the hand, the way you've played other hands in the past, the way you've been playing today. I need to put you on a range of possibilities. Maybe it's, pocket pairs, ace 10 and better, ace 5 suited and better, king 10 suited, king queen, things like that, where I'm putting you on a range of combinations of hands. And then I can take that out to a Monte Carlo simulator. And I can say, how does, on this particular flop, 10, 8, 7, 2 diamonds, how does my ace jack suited play against your range? And it will tell me 53% of the time over a million runs I should win. That also means 47% of the time I'm going to lose. But I don't care. And when we're looking at 53% and 47%, man, I could play that hand 100 times and lose 20 in a row. And that's still okay. Because I'm going to win if we run it 1,000 times, 5,000 times, a million times. That's what the sim model is doing for you. It is showing you which players are going to come out ahead more often than not. Those are the players you stick to, full well knowing tonight might not be their night. But if I got to run this slate 5,000 times, yeah, some nights he's going to score 80, some nights he's going to score 25, but most of the time he's going to score 47. And 40, so, between 40 and 48, whatever you want to say, your range of outcomes. And that's going to lead to positive expected value for you, or profit. Again, I didn't care when my ace jack went up against your range. If I could properly put you on a range of hands, I didn't give two shits what happened on the next couple flips of the card. I'm trying to get money in that pot, because out of every dollar I stick in that pot, I'm due 20 cents of it profit. Realizing I'm going to lose a lot along the way. Once you get that type of a concept in your head, tilt no longer becomes a factor for you. You understand, I'm on the right track. All it is figuring out if you can get on the right track at that point, and then it's just not changing much and letting variance flow through you. That's how you become a profitable player. That's how you become a winning player. You have to understand these concepts, and you have to get in here, and you have to do the work, analyze the tools, assess the tool, realize what the tools are doing for you. That's where your coaches come in. They can explain this stuff to you and put you on a winning track so that you can then just say, oh, it didn't work last night. And it sucks because you lost $100. But you realize that if I have a big enough bankroll, which is to be the next topic we'll talk about, bankroll management, if I have a large enough bankroll, and when you're on razor thin edges and you can literally go through 20 down sessions in a row and it doesn't necessarily demolish your bankroll, you no longer care. You're variance proof. That's what your bankroll should be for you, is your volatility insulation. And in this game of DFS, it needs to be big, not $25. Probably not $200 if you're playing $20 a night. Probably $2,000. Again, I'm not saying that you can't play this game on $20 a night and do well. I'm saying that when the big downswings hit, it's going to really test your bankroll. But if you keep making those positive EV decisions, I don't know when it's going to turn around for you, but it will. Your bankroll has to endure the variance. It will come back. A lot of times all you need is a little bit of support. which is what the coaches give you. A little bit of tools to show you where to focus tonight, and that's what we give you. You have to be disciplined with your own bankroll, though. But you keep making those little bitty, teeny tiny expected value decisions, and it will eventually come back. It may take 2 seasons, 3 seasons. I don't know. If you've only got $200 in your bankroll and you're playing $20 a night, get ready to redeposit someday at some point. Doesn't mean you're not a profitable player. It means your current bankroll isn't big enough to withstand. Now, maybe you save $100 a month to put into your DFS account, and you want to get it to where you can play $20 a night. That's perfect. Understanding that as I go through major downswings, I might chew up that $200. That's okay. Again, it doesn't mean you're a losing player. It means you haven't ridden out the variance long enough if you're making positive EV decisions. We can talk about more of this stuff later. It's been 25 minutes. The Paycheck Friday showed you a little bit of player pool, had some names for you to write down, showed you some of the consistency and stuff. I'm going to get out here and go talk to my VIPs for a little bit, but hopefully that type of knowledge and that type of an analogy helps you draw some conclusions to realize how much this coaching can really help you, how much being part of this community can really help your game. Keeping your mind right, offering you the tools and the support to turn into a better player. Nobody can do it alone anymore. The game is too smart. Get in here, become a VIP, use the link at the bottom of the comment section, coupon code CHOP, CHOP. Jump in here today, get rolling tonight. Things are going to get better on Monday. I've got a couple articles debuting, and I've got a couple of these consensus sheet, player pick type sheets from these coaches rolling out. We're going to continue staying ahead of the curve in daily fantasy sports and achieving our goal of global domination. It's going to happen. You can either sit on the sidelines and wave to us as we roll by, or you can hop on the bus, Gus. Choice is yours. I'm always here. I'm always willing to talk to my VIPs. Jump in here. Follow me out on Twitter. Same deal. Love to talk to you. Love talking DFS to you. And I can go through the necessary depth to explain these concepts to you as long as it takes to get it to you so that you understand it, and then you can take that knowledge and you can make yourself a better player. That's what I'm all about. I'm Choppadong. This has been DFS Diary. Obviously, I'm brought to you by DFSarmy.com. Paycheck Friday, come in here today. Let's talk a little bit of DFS, and let's get your NBA game figured out across the other sports too, PGA and everything else. We'll see you over the weekend. Maybe we'll see you back on Monday. Hopefully, I've got that graphic for you, and the EV stuff is even better explained than I was able to do today. Take care, guys. We'll talk to you soon.